Jumia is no ordinary company, and trust me, this is no ordinary story.
We funded Jumia in 2012.
We decided to start Jumia to change the face of retail in Nigeria.
Jumia Nigeria, the African e-commerce platform Jumia.
On one hand, this is one of the most inspiring business tales you ever hear of how a team of young men came together to revolutionize the way Africans shop. Jumia was not just Africa's largest e-commerce company. It was a promise from a continent known for being sidelined in the global tech market. While on the other hand, in the shadows of this shiny promise were stories of questionable practices, operational inefficiencies, fierce competition, and a challenging marketplace struggling to bridge two different worlds. Rocket Internet was established in Berlin in the year 2007 by the Samoa brothers, Oliver, Mark, and Alexander Samoa. They were known for replicating successful business models from established tech companies. And over the years, Rocket Internet positioned itself as a global incubator, launching numerous e-commerce, food delivery, and online service platforms in emerging markets like Africa, Asia, Latin America, and others. Now, with extensive experience in building successful ventures, Rocket Internet saw a promising opportunity in Africa's untapped e-commerce, which made them select experienced consultants, Jeremy Hodara and Sacha Poignonek, to establish a foothold in the continent's largest economy. Rocket Internet recognized that the African market was underserved despite a growing demand for convenient online shopping, and this led to the launch of Kasua in Nigeria in June 2012. This venture was one of the first major e-commerce platforms in Africa designed to bridge gaps in retail services across the continent. Now, I am sure you are wondering how two French guys came up with the name Kasua, which means markets in Hausa language. Interestingly, the name was not their idea, but the initiative of Jeremy and Sacha's co-founders. Tunde Kehinde and Raphael Afaido are often referred to as co-founders of Africa's e-commerce giant because they played crucial roles in launching and scaling the startup in Nigeria. Tunde and Raphael joined as Nigeria's founding team, and they were instrumental in localizing the business model to suit the Nigerian market by building its operations, managing day-to-day challenges, navigating the complexities of Nigeria's emerging e-commerce landscape. This and more are reasons why they are often regarded as co-founders. The name Kasua was chosen to resonate more with the local audience and reflect the marketplace concept they were building. However, after some time, Rocket Internet decided to unify their African e-commerce ventures under one recognizable brand named Jumia.
Jumia.
This rebranding was intended to create a cohesive Pan-African identity as they expanded into multiple African countries. Jumia became the first Pan-African technology company that was built around a marketplace logistics service and payment service. The logistics service enabled the delivery of packages through a network of local partners, while the payment services facilitated the payments of online transactions within Jumia's ecosystem. Jumia became a dominant player in the African e-commerce ecosystem, just like Amazon in the US and Alibaba in China. Lest I forget, Jumia was the first African tech startup that went public on the New York Stock Exchange on the 12th of April 2019.
Now e-commerce firm Jumia launched its IPO this week on the New York Stock Exchange.
Its stock initially skyrocketed, but then quickly tumbled on the heels of criticism. Trust me, we'll get to all of that shortly.
Now, Citron Research says Jumia inflated its active consumers and active merchants figures by 20% to 30% in order to raise more money from investors.
Hey guys, before we get to the next chapter of this story, I just want to say a big thank you for watching these videos that I make. I also really do appreciate your comments and feedbacks. And if you are new here, kindly subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for Thaddnarrative, because I have a whole lot of projects on the way. So with all of that being said, let's get back to the story. In its early days, Jumia was pretty aggressive to dominate the African market. Hence, it expanded very quickly and launched a bunch of other products, such as Jumia Travel, which was launched in 2013, initially named Juvago. It was Jumia Group's online hotel booking service, focused on making it easier for users to find and book accommodations across Africa and beyond. The platform was later rebranded to Jumia Travel in 2016 to align with the Jumia brand across its other e-commerce services. However, 3 years down the line, Jumia Travel was acquired by TravelStart, an online flight booking platform with presence in Nigeria and South Africa. Another key product that was launched was Jumia Food. Jumia Food was launched in September 2013, originally branded as Hello Food. This online food delivery service was part of Jumia Group's expansion into various sectors beyond traditional e-commerce, aiming to make ordering food from local restaurants more accessible across Africa. And just like Jumia Travel, Hello Food was rebranded to Jumia Food in 2016 to unify the brand across Jumia's various services. At this point, Jumia was feeling like the king of the African e-commerce market, which they were.
We are the only Pan-African player doing e-commerce in Africa. So we really are here, across our 14 countries to build it, and there is no one really competing with us, at the Pan-African level.
They moved on to launch various other products, one of which was Jumia One in 2018. Now, with all of these platforms and services operating under their belt, Rocket Internet decided to put them all under one company, and they called it the African Internet Holdings, which MTN Group acquired a 33% shares, and Millicom, a Latin America company, also had 33% shares. This acquisition and partnership moved on to play a part in turning Jumia to a unicorn company. With various products in the Jumia ecosystem, there was no doubt Jumia was aiming for the moon. Investors took notice. MTN, Millicom, and AXA poured in millions, recognizing that Jumia was building more than an online store. It was setting up Africa's first true e-commerce ecosystem. For example, MTN helped extend Jumia's telecommunication and infrastructure support, while AXA provided insurance services. Each partnership opened doors, giving Jumia access to new resources and a deeper understanding of the continent's challenges. Jumia also became known for its bold, localized marketing. Every November, it launched a massive Black Friday sales across the continent, which brought in record traffic and sales. By now, Jumia was no longer just a marketplace. It was part of the African lifestyle, where people not only bought electronics or clothing, but also groceries, travel bookings, and even meals. All of these developments culminated in 2015, making Jumia hit about $250 million in revenue. And the following year, it hit a monumental milestone. Its valuation crossed the $1 billion mark, officially making it Africa's first tech unicorn. In just 4 years, Jumia had transformed from a startup with a lofty dream into a digital empire stretching across 14 countries. And most importantly, it was a hope for a connected, modern future in a diverse and dynamic Africa. So with all of this dominance, what gradually led to Jumia's decline?
The company is struggling as inflationary pressure has caused a currency crisis in Africa, which dents its revenues.
Despite its rise, Jumia's story took a dramatic turn as the company's dominance in the African e-commerce landscape began to unravel. Beneath the surface of rapid growth and a billion-dollar valuation, there were cracks that started to appear, signs that a dream of a pan-African digital empire was harder to sustain than it first seemed.
If you come with your blueprint of e-commerce that worked everywhere else in the world and you want to implement it and copy-paste it in Africa, it will surely not work, that's for sure.
And also, there was competition. By 2016, new rivals, both international and homegrown, started eating into Jumia's market share. These competitors were often more targeted, which proved to be more in line with consumer preferences. In particular, other smaller specialized companies often managed to stay ahead by offering a more tailored localized shopping experience that Jumia's broad, all-encompassing model couldn't always provide. Internally, there were also signs of strain. Jumia's rapid expansion had meant that the company was hiring quickly, but the talent it brought in sometimes struggled to keep up with the demands of managing such a large, complex organization. The company's corporate structure, which had worked in the early days, began to look inefficient. Financial pressure continued to mount. Despite huge investments from high-profile investors, Jumia struggled to make profit. The promise of profitability was always just out of reach.
So the company isn't profitable right now.
By 2019, Jumia was forced to lay off a significant portion of its workforce. It was also widely speculated that Jumia had to close shop in some of its African markets to arrest its losses. And it didn't take long before the company suspended operations in 2 African countries so as to cut down on the loss-making spree that hit a whopping threshold of $1 billion. However, even these moves weren't enough to turn the tide, because more blows came as accusations of fraudulent activities within the company surfaced. In 2019, a report by an investment firm named Citron Research claimed that Jumia had inflated its financials by exaggerating its transaction numbers and the size of its customer base. These allegations sent shockwaves through the business world, and the public began to question whether Jumia was really as successful as it had claimed.
Now, Citron Research says Jumia inflated its active consumers and active merchants figures by 20% to 30% in order to raise more money from investors.
Well, Jumia tried to defend itself, but the damage to its reputation had already been done. The company's problems were compounded by the broader economic environment. At that time, Africa's economy had become more volatile, with currency devaluations and economic instability in some of its key markets, like Nigeria. This made it even harder for Jumia to maintain its pricing structure and keep its operations profitable. You know, it's quite sad to say Jumia's gradual decline is a combination of rapid growth, operational inefficiencies, fierce competition, and a challenging market. Its story is a lesson that shows the complexities of doing business in a continent as diverse as Africa.